Think medieval Europeans were clean? Think again. Most people didn't bathe for months, some for years. And while Europe feared water, Asia built entire cultures around it. From daily baths to herbal soaps, from rats in the streets to spotless temples, the difference was enormous. Today, we're diving deep into the surprisingly dirty truth about medieval Europe and how Asia stayed way ahead in hygiene. In medieval Europe, bathing was often seen as dangerous. Doctors believed warm water opened the pores and allowed sickness to enter. As the Roman Empire collapsed, so did its bathhouses, once the pride of European cities. By the 14th century, most were abandoned or destroyed, blamed for spreading disease and sin. The church even preached modesty and avoidance of public baths, calling them immoral. For most people, washing meant a quick splash of water on the face or hands, maybe once a week. Full-body baths were rare. Now, some nobles might soak in wooden tubs a few times a year, while peasants simply didn't bother. Instead, people used perfumes, oils, or even cloves sewn into clothing to hide the smell. Meanwhile, in Asia, things couldn't be more different. Japan's onsen and sento bathhouses were a daily routine. Bathing wasn't just about hygiene, it was spiritual. In China, public baths were common even among the poor, and bathing with herbal soaps or flower-scented oils was part of everyday life. In India, washing in rivers was sacred, tied to religion and purification. While Europe ran from water, Asia treated it like life itself. Clothing told another story of cleanliness, or lack of it. In Europe, clothes were incredibly costly, often handmade from wool or linen, so people owned very few. Washing them was exhausting work. No running water, no soap, and harsh winters meant laundry was rare. Some peasants wore the same garments for months, even sleeping in them. By spring, they'd be crawling with lice and fleas. The rich changed more often, but even noble wardrobes would make you cringe today. In Asia, clothing care was practically an art form. The Chinese washed garments in rice water or natural detergents made from plant ashes and citrus. The Japanese washed and sun-dried light fabrics regularly. Even peasants valued clean clothing. In the Islamic world, purity was tied to faith. Clean clothes were seen as a reflection of the soul. Europeans often accepted filth as normal. Asians saw cleanliness as civilization itself. Now let's talk about teeth, or what was left of them. In medieval Europe, oral hygiene was almost non-existent. Toothbrushes hadn't arrived, toothpaste wasn't invented, and dentists? Only for the very rich or the very brave. People sometimes rubbed ashes, salt, or crushed herbs on their teeth, but it barely helped. By age 30, many had lost most of their teeth. Chronic tooth pain and infections were common. And of course, bad breath was just part of the air. Asia, again, was miles ahead. In the Islamic world, people used miswak, a natural toothbrush made from tree twigs, still proven effective today. In China, people used herbal powders mixed with salt or green tea. Japan had wooden toothpicks and salt rinses, centuries before Europe even considered oral care. Clean teeth weren't a luxury, they were routine. So while Europeans smiled through rotten teeth, Asia was already practicing what we'd now call dental hygiene. Food in medieval Europe could easily make you sick. Kitchens were dirty, full of smoke and insects. Without refrigeration, meat spoiled fast. Bread often had mold, and water sources were contaminated with waste. People drank weak beer or wine because it was safer than water. Not for fun, but for survival. The concept of bacteria didn't exist, so food poisoning was just another mystery of life. Asia, however, treated food and cleanliness as inseparable. In China, cleanliness in kitchens was enforced through strict cultural habits. Cooking methods like steaming and boiling helped kill bacteria long before anyone understood microbes. Japan had meticulous preparation rituals, washing rice, hands, and utensils before every meal. In the Islamic world, religious laws about cleanliness extended to how food was handled, stored, and eaten. Europeans cooked to survive. Asia cooked to stay healthy. And here's where hygiene hit hardest: disease. In Europe, filth was everywhere. Streets doubled as sewers, waste was tossed from windows, and rats thrived. The result? Epidemics. The Black Death alone killed over 25 million people, nearly half of Europe. People thought disease came from bad smells or miasma, not from germs. So they burned herbs to purify the air instead of cleaning the streets. Asia wasn't immune to plagues, but sanitation was often far more advanced. In China, large cities like Chang'an and Hangzhou had waste collection systems and public baths. In the Islamic world, daily washing before prayer and the emphasis on clean water naturally limited infections. Even Japan's city layouts encouraged cleaner living, with drainage systems and separated waste areas. Hygiene wasn't just cultural, it was practical survival. In short, Europe was drowning in filth, while Asia was quietly managing the problem centuries ahead of time. One of the biggest reasons for this massive divide in hygiene came down to philosophy, how people thought about cleanliness itself. In medieval Europe, religion and superstition shaped nearly every part of life. Cleanliness wasn't seen as a sign of health or discipline. It was often viewed with suspicion. Many believed that frequent bathing could open the body to disease or temptation. The church sometimes taught that washing too often was a form of vanity, and that a pure soul mattered more than a clean body. So, spiritual purity replaced physical hygiene. Across Asia, the mindset was completely different. In China, Confucianism linked personal cleanliness to moral order. A clean home and body reflected respect for family and society. Buddhism saw purity as a form of inner balance, so washing was both a physical and spiritual act. And in the Islamic world, hygiene was inseparable from faith itself. Ritual washing before prayers, clean clothing, and orderly cities were all part of religious duty. Where Europe feared water, Asia treated it as sacred. Where Europeans masked odors with herbs, Asians built systems to remove the source entirely. It wasn't just a difference in habits, but it was a difference in worldview.